welcome back to my channel where we live, love, laugh, and eat. Alright, KK gang, it's been a couple weeks. I have been working on a few things, and so today's video is going to be about my top 10 things that I've used to increase productivity and decrease my anxiety and depression in the process. I've noticed for a while that I lack consistency. So in the midst of just trying to gain that back, I've created some methods to my madness, so it kind of helps me out. My number one thing is plan ahead. Anybody with anxiety should know the best way to decrease your anxiety is to always plan ahead. I don't care if every Sunday, lay out what your week looks like, from the appointments to your to-do list to what you cooking every day. The little things like that, the day that you clean, all that kind of stuff, it just creates a level of lessening your stress so that you're able to focus on the things that pop up out of nowhere, because we know life be lifing, right? Okay. So that's just a bonus, but I want to say my first thing on the list, number one, is going to be creating a healthy routine for yourself. I personally use a thing called Task Tracker. It's an app that I downloaded on my phone. It allows me to pretty much put in everything I have to do on a day-to-day basis, create timers for it, different color-coded names for it, affirmations in the subject, things of that sort. So I know every day I have a checklist, right? Okay, so I would also recommend creating, like, maybe get like a planner. I'm a writer, so even though I have an app, it looks better on paper for me. When I write it down, I remember it better. So definitely get a planner if you're a writer. Take that planner, get one that has the part where you can like put notes under each day of the calendar, and it gives you a part under each day outside of the full calendar to still list bigger things that you need to do that day. That tends to work for me a lot, because every time I wake up, the first thing I do in the morning is I look at what's on the agenda. That always calms me down in the morning, because first thing you know, when you wake up, especially with kids, your house could be, chaotic in the morning, or it could be completely quiet where you're able to focus. A lot of times when I wake up, my house is in mommy mode, so kids are yelling, running, asking for food, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like looking at my planner first thing in the morning definitely gives me some kind of like direction. So that's number one. Number two that I found that has helped me a lot is therapy, y'all. Us as a community, I know me personally, I grew up thinking that therapy was not for me. That if you wanted to talk, you could talk to your family. If you wanted to talk, you talk to your best friend, things like that. I feel like people really downplay therapy, because most of the people who say they don't need it have never experienced it. I was one of those people who said therapy is just not it for me. I don't want to talk to no stranger about my problems. I almost feel like my therapist is becoming like my best friend. She's the only person I feel like I'm 100% transparent with, who doesn't judge me, who doesn't give me a false narrative like I'm doing everything right even when I'm messing up. Because friends can tend to be yes men from time to time when they don't want you to feel too bad about what you got going on, and you're like, oh, it's okay, girl, you messed up, da, 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 da. No, she gives me the real, but also making me feel comfortable enough to keep coming back to her and telling her what life is giving me, and a better way to handle things in the future. So therapy is definitely something I'm gonna say. If you ain't, don't knock it till you tried it. And if you tried it and it didn't work, try again and try again. Find a different therapist. You're gonna find somebody who meets your needs, who believes in what you believe in, and who really wants to see your growth and not just diagnose you with stuff. Number three is learning self-care. As y'all have seen on my previous video, my first form of self-care was my skincare. I had to get into the routine of constantly taking care of my skin twice a day. This is a routine. It's on my task manager on my app. So I know every night before bed, every time I wake up, that's usually how I, get my day started. I've also found and I've learned to multitask. Somebody with anxiety tends to think like it can be overwhelming from time to time, but I think taking two things on at a time when you can, it alleviates your to-do list. So for me, for instance, I'll say like Number 4 would have to be my inspirational podcast that I listen to, or sometimes I listen to sermons in the morning when I wake up. I currently listen to Black Girl Therapy, but I've added a couple more. I'll let you know what I think. But they have hundreds of episodes already, so I'm still catching up on those. I start my morning with that or a sermon, and I kind of rotate between just how I'm feeling, and those help a lot with just learn how to process things. And I think the podcast for me helps more because it makes me feel like I'm not the only person going through stuff like this. And that feels good, feeling like you're not the only person that's stressing. You're not the only person that's waking up with anxiety issues or overthinking or grieving or anything like that. So they definitely help me clear my mind, get my day started on a positive note. As I'm putting that on, I do my skincare routine while that's working its way through. That way I'm listening and taking care of my skin, knocking 2 birds out with 1 stone, right? Okay, so that's what I mean by like kind of multitasking on your things, so you don't have a long day ahead of you and feel exhausted by the end of the night because you've made a to-do list for yourself. Also, for the person who has anxiety, every day that you plan something out, I recommend when you start, don't go over 5 things at a time. You may have to do more than 5 things that day, okay? But start with 5. Complete those 5 until it feels like, oh, this is easy. Now let's add something else that I gotta do every day. Now let's add something else. Keep doing it that way, because when I first started, I just wanted to be great. I just wanted to hurry up and get through my healing and, everything like that. So I definitely sped up the process. I wanted to write down 20 things, and then by the end of the night, I don't have half of it done, and I'm sitting here feeling disappointed, and then you go back into that cycle of feeling like you're doing too much. So alleviate that as well by giving yourself less things to do, and that is okay. Get what you can get done and move along to the next day. Be okay with the fact that every day is not going to be completed, but know if you put 100% forward every day, there's not going to be a lot of uncompleted days. I can promise you that. My daily vitamins, that's something else that I've added to my self-care. Specifically the vitamin I'm talking about for my stressors, my people with depression who are not on medication. Look into the vitamin called ashwagandha. If you know, you know. It's what I call my happy pill. Okay, I take it twice a day. It does vary in milligrams. You can start low, and if you don't feel like it's kicking in, it does take, I think, like a week to 2 weeks for you to really feel it. But if you're used to taking it, it just gives you a very calm feeling. I don't tend to run down that rabbit hole of overwhelmed feelings when I take it consistently. It aids stress relief. So it definitely helps for the person who's constantly hyper anxious and things of that sort. I definitely, take a look at that. If y'all have never tried it, take a look into it. You can get it from any grocery store, any vitamin store, online, whatever. So number 5 would be meditation / prayer, because during my meditation I'm trying to do morning and night right now. I've only got mornings down. As soon as I wake up, I do it right in my bed. You don't have to move. You don't even have to lay out a mat and be out it doesn't have to be the aesthetic every time. I meditate right from my bed. If I wake up and I feel like I'm in a mood, my meditation starts right there. I turn myself on my phone, I put my headphones in, I start right from my bed. And if I feel like I need to do it again later, I do it again later. So I think that's something that we also don't, we don't do a lot. We just want to fly off the handles every time they go as well. It's because no, you can find ways to control your anxiety and your anger by just learning how to control yourself emotionally. So that's definitely started to help me with rationally thinking about things, meditation. So number 6 is going to be journaling. I am going to show y'all, this is my journal, y'all. I carry this everywhere. You don't have to do that. I carry mine everywhere because I am one of them people who like to write at the most random times. I could be on the way somewhere and I'm in the passenger seat. I could be sitting at the park with my kids and something just flows into my spirit. I could be going on a walk, and by the end of this walk, I need to get this down before I forget it. So in the car, I'm jotting down my diary stays on me. So I definitely think that helps because writing out your thoughts, writing out your thought process, writing out the things that make you upset, stressed, that are on your mind. I tend to try to do it at night before I go to sleep so I can kind of relieve myself of all those inner thoughts so I can try to rest at night. I notice a lot of people who have anxiety, we also have trouble sleeping. My sleep is very up and down. Either I'm oversleeping or I'm undersleeping. I haven't found balance in that yet. But I do think journaling helps kind of clear all the massive thoughts that can be running through your mind, especially when you're trying to calm down for the night. Number 7 for me is going to have to be slowing down on smoking and drinking. I cut tobacco off over a year ago, and I'm an occasional drinker now. I will say, like, when my mom passed away, I kind of felt like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. In our community, smoking and drinking is kind of a part of the process when you're grieving, a part of the process when you're getting through things, when you're stressed out. Oh, have a drink. So I've noticed that a lot of people in my family have also dealt with like the spirit of addiction and things like that. So I personally slowed down on my intake, especially when I am stressed. So my thing now is if I'm stressed out, I'm sober, because I need to learn how to process those thoughts without being tipsy or whatever. So definitely that's just my opinion. I've learned to process things mentally a lot better when I took substances out of the question. Do everything you can to try to start your day on a positive note. If that means setting up a schedule where all your morning starts off where, hey, I'm doing whatever I gotta do to get myself where I'm starting off right, do that and try to do it consistently, because then you know at least if you start your day off good. I always feel like when you start your day off good, it's way easier to end your day off good. If you start your day off bad, y'all know, if your day starts off bad, your day usually gets worse and worse and worse throughout the day. You're like, I'm ready to go to bed. Like, let's start this over. So before it gets there, just reset. Try to start your day over good. If it starts off early in the morning on bull, try to reset yourself as quick as you can. Do what you got to do. Pull yourself aside. Get your attitude together, because soon as you recoup and get yourself back emotionally stable, then you'll feel like, okay, let me start this over. Let me try again. And the energy shifts. So that's what I do with that. The number 9 would be reading. Reading has always been a favorite of mine. I didn't think of it therapeutically, or I didn't think of it like concerning self-care, because I didn't used to read books that were inspiring at first. I used to read a lot of novels that were like drama based and suspenseful, those kind of books. Now I kind of mix them up. I have a lot of inspirational books. I have a lot of books that I use to educate myself. I'm currently reading Destiny by T.D. Jakes. I love this book. It'll be done probably next week and a half, 2 weeks, and then I'll move on to the next one. And if y'all want, I will keep y'all updated on my TikTok or Instagram on what book I'm reading for the month. But yeah, I think that reading definitely clears my mind. As y'all can see, I'm currently on vacation in Tennessee with my family, and I love coming out here. The view is beautiful. It's very peaceful, serene. I've been out here reading, swinging on a hammock all weekend. It's been very, very peaceful. So I love reading. Number 10 is something I actually used to do and I fell off and I'm going back to. So y'all are gonna also see a little bit of that. Is working out. Working out is a underrated stress reliever, y'all. Let me tell you, whenever you feel like you got all that pent up aggression, that's when you can go the longest on that Stairmaster. Okay? Whenever you feel pissed off at that man or at that job or at that situation, take your butt to the gym ASAP. Work it out. That sweat, that relief, all those hormones, you get to kick that stuff out. And I actually feel like I have better workouts when I'm stressed, because I'm able to literally like just work all that stress gets worked out, and it's getting you healthier. So it's a win-win situation. So yeah, those are my top 10 things that I do personally. Y'all will see more on my fitness journey because I am jumping back in the gym. But yeah, those are just 10 things that I've used to just increase my productivity, try to keep me focused on the day-to-day, and keep everything good. I hope everybody is doing all right. Thank y'all for coming back and visiting my channel, KK Gang. And as always, live, love, laugh, and eat. Yeah, look at this view. I do not want to go home. Y'all gonna get a little house tour on here too. I'll do the clips of it at the end.